Hey, and welcome to Total Ramblings episode 45, I believe. And this episode is a review of the second Doctor Who episode from this season with Ncuti Gatwa. It's The Devil's Chord. I've literally just finished watching it less than 30 seconds ago. So these are my off the cuff, spur of the moment reactions. And wow, I mean, okay. We're going to put the musical bit at the end. By the way, sorry, should have said already, there will be spoilers in here, okay? So if you haven't seen the episode and you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch this episode of Total Ramblings because I'm going to spoil the hell out of it for you. Okay, so putting aside the musical number at the end, I thought this was a really well directed episode. I love the opening scene where Ruby says, hey, let's go and see the Beatles recording their first album. And the Doctor's like, seriously? And you think, he thinks it's a dumb idea. No, he thinks it's a brilliant idea, I just love that kind of stuff. And then, of course, they get dressed up in their sort of 60s outfits. And yeah, the whole thing, it just looks brilliant. Having personally crossed the zebra crossing at Abbey Road, having personally walked past the Abbey Road studios, I was, it was nice to kind of see that, having been there myself. And I have to say, there were some genuine laugh out loud moments in this episode. When the Beatles are recording their song, and it's just like the most awful song in the universe, I absolutely howled with laughter. It was brilliant. Kind of similarly with Cilla Black recording her single as well. It was just like hilarious. So there's always been a bit of a thing with sort of Doctor Who villains where the producer of the day says, hey, this new villain's coming along and the stakes could not be higher. And you're like, again, really? How? But this villain, I didn't have high expectations for them, but I mean, actually quite sort of terrifying, really, in the performance, and this wacky concept of, stealing sort of music. Essentially, what's happened, of course, is that the Celestial Toymaker has managed to make his way into our universe, as we saw a couple of episodes ago, and has basically, I think, open the floodgates for other sort of celestial beings of his nature, including apparently his offspring, Maestro. I thought Maestro was brilliant. Obviously, we had a callback to sort of Pyramids of Mars, where Sarah Jane Smith said, hey, the Earth didn't end here because I'm from 1980, and the Doctor takes her forward in time and says, well, this is 1980, and obviously we had a very similar thing. So we've kind of got ongoing exposition here again, as with episode 1. So the Doctor talking about his granddaughter Susan, confirming that indeed he did have children. So it's not just she wasn't just like adopted or something. It wasn't just a sort of a name that she gave him of grandfather. She is genuinely his granddaughter. And again, that ongoing sort of exposition there, as I said, not delivered in too subtle a way, but not too obtrusive as it was, I think, in the last episode. They're able to sort of, kind of fit it in a little bit more sort of naturally. But then again, as I say, we had this kind of callback where Ruby says, but the Earth didn't end in 1963. And so the Doctor takes her forward to June/July 2024, which, from my perspective, because I'm recording this in May, hasn't happened yet, right? So I liked that. I liked, as I said in the last review, when I saw the preview, the sort of ruined London, that's the kind of Disney money sort of coming through. And then this bizarre scene where sort of Maestro appears and we're suddenly in sort of, the back rooms or something like that, this kind of, and that was just like superb. I just thought, I had a big grin across my face for this whole episode. I thought it was really, really good. There are going to be many, many people who don't like this episode. And, and I've often wondered, and I don't think Doctor Who is for you anymore. If people say, oh, Doctor Who has become, kind of progressive and woke. It's always been that way. And if you haven't spotted that, what have you been watching? I often think that sometimes maybe modern Doctor Who isn't for me because, as I said in the last episode of Total Ramblings, I don't always rewatch New Who. I'll sit and enjoy it, and there are some episodes that I will watch over and over and over again. For example, The Girl in the Fireplace or Midnight, fantastic episodes. Dalek, that kind of thing. But sometimes I think, well, maybe new Doctor Who isn't for me. I'm 53 years old next month, as I keep, reminding myself, and it's kind of Doctor Who. If I want to enjoy old Doctor Who the way it was, I can go back and do that. And that's what I tend to do. I tend to rewatch old Doctor Who more than new Doctor Who. But this, again, another episode that I could easily rewatch. There's a certain energy and vigour to this particular season, I think, already. I love Ncuti Gatwa's performance as the Doctor. I love Millie Gibson as Ruby. I think they're a really good TARDIS team. Really good. And it was nice to see Ruby get something to do as a companion in playing the piano on that rooftop and trying to sort of ignite the passion of music within people again, I thought that was really good. And then the sort of ultimate kind of thing of, the death chord or the banishment chord for Maestro basically being the end chord from the Beatles' A Day in the Life, which is possibly my favourite Beatles track. For a long, long time, I used to say that's the song I wanted played at my funeral. Not necessarily these days, I don't say that, but it's an amazing track. But that kind of ding at the end, the chord that sort of banishes Maestro, I thought was very well done. And then, of course, we've got the teaser there for sort of, was it The One Who Waits or whatever it is? I can't remember the exact words. I've literally just watched it. So, we've got this ongoing story arc. So, yeah, nicely done. And then, of course, let's bring this back in. We've got the end musical number. I mean, wow. Could you imagine any other Doctor or season of Doctor Who having a musical number at the end? There's always a twist at the end or whatever. And it's just like, okay, that was unexpected. I've had a message from my wife saying she didn't enjoy that bit, but I mean, it's different. I mean, Star Trek Strange New Worlds has done a musical episode. I guess the Gunfighters, we had that ballad constantly playing, was, another example of sort of in-universe music, but that was just like, yeah, I mean, I don't dislike it. It was just unexpected and brilliantly bonkers, shall we say. And I think that's kind of this season in a whole so far. Space Babies and a musical number. Brilliantly bonkers, right? Utterly insane, but in a good way. I mean, Doctor Who can be whatever it wants to be, right? It can be any genre it wants to be. It can do anything it wants. It always has been the case. So, why not? Why the hell not? I think I think we've had 2 very good episodes. I'm hoping, obviously, the season will continue in this vein. It's interesting. The trailer for the next episode shows somebody stepping on a mine in a battlefield. And I just have to wonder, because of course your mind races, the history of Doctor Who. Is this Skaro? Are we going to see some Daleks? We just don't know. I've heard a rumour that the Daleks are going to have been redesigned. I'm hoping Russell T Davies doesn't go down the Stephen Moffat route of ruining the design of the Daleks, because they quickly wound back from that. I mean, that's how I got onto the Flashing Blade podcast, actually. What happened was I was so incensed about the Teletubby eye Daleks, if you like. I created a website called The Campaign for Real Daleks, which is obviously a play on the Campaign for Real Ale. And Siobhan commented on that. And so I then started writing to the show. The next thing you know, I'm a host. So basically, if it hadn't been for me just knocking up that joke website, I wouldn't have sort of become the sort of podcaster or person that I was given the opportunity to become, And I might not even be doing this now. I'm not saying there's a direct link there, but there's certainly a tenuous link there, if nothing else. So yeah, I'm hoping that we don't get a ruined Dalek design. I know RTD has got good form for redesigning the Daleks. I mean, the 2005 redesign was chef's kiss, you know, and I'm hoping that we might just see some small modifications and that the overall shape remains the same, because that's the important thing, really. And I'm hoping that we get some good Dalek stuff. This is pure speculation. The next episode might have nothing to do with the Daleks. It might be the whole episode of the Doctor or Ruby stood on a mine while somebody else tries to sort the problem out. And it might be a kind of unique episode like that. I don't know. I'm speculating. My mind's racing, right? Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up there. I liked this episode a lot. Musical number. Did we need it? Don't know. Do I mind that it's there? Not really. It's fine. It's the 60s, right? You know. But yeah, I think this was a good one, and yeah, brilliant. I'll see you in the next episode of Total Ramblings. Hey, I forgot to say, as I've mentioned in the last couple of videos, for episode 50 of Total Ramblings, which is coming up imminently, I am going to have an AMA, an Ask Me Anything. I know I've got a couple of regular viewers, but basically I thought, you know, send your questions in. I'll try and answer them as honestly as I possibly can. I don't know whether I'm going to be doing it live or not. I'm just not sure. But yeah, Ask Me Anything, episode 50. Don't have a date for it yet because there isn't a planned schedule for these videos, but just a reminder, just to let you know. Cheers. If you enjoy what I do here, although I can't think why, please remember to click the like button, smash that subscribe button, and hit the bell icon to be notified whenever I post a new video. You might also want to check out my website, www.worldsbestestpoet.com, if you fancy a laugh.